Get ready, start. Having bestowed our anxious consideration, comma, we are disposed to think when we accept the principle of standardization, comma, there is really no rationale not to apply the said principle to the self-employed or a person who is on a fixed salary. Stop. To follow the doctrine of actual income at the time of death and not to add any amount with regard to future prospects to the income for the purpose of determination of income would be unjust. Stop. The determination of income while computing compensation has to include future prospects so that the method will come within the ambit and sweep of just compensation as postulated under section 168 of the Act. Stop. In case of deceased who had held a permanent job with inbuilt grant of annual increment, comma, there is an acceptable certainty but to state that the legal representatives of a deceased who was on a fixed salary would not be entitled to the benefit of future prospects for the purpose of computation of compensation would be inapposite. Stop. One may perceive that the comparative measure is certainty on the one hand and uncertainty on the other, but such a perception is falseous. Stop. It is because the price rise does affect a self-employed person and that apart there is always an incent effort to enhance one's income for sustenance. Stop. The purchasing capacity of a salaried person on permanent job when increases because of grant of increments and pay revision or for some other change in service conditions, comma, there is always a competing attitude in the private sector to enhance the salary to get better efficiency from the employees. Stop. Para. Similarly, comma, a person who is self-employed is bound to garner his resources and raise his charges fees so that he can live with some facilities. Stop. To have the perception that he is likely to remain static and his income to remain stagnant is contrary to the fundamental concept of human attitude which always intends to live with dynamism and move and change with the time. Stop. Though it may seem appropriate that there cannot be certainty in addition of future prospects to the existing income, unlike in the case of a person having a permanent job, comma, yet the said perception does not really deserve acceptance. Stop. We are inclined to think that there can be some degree of difference as regards the percentage that is meant for or applied to in respect of the legal representatives who claim on behalf of the deceased who had a permanent job than a person who is self-employed or on a fixed salary. Stop. But not to apply the principle of standardization on the foundation of perceived lack of certainty would tantamount to remaining oblivious to the marrows of ground reality and therefore degree test is imperative. Stop. Unless the degree test is applied and left to the parties to adduce evidence, it would be unfair and inequitable. Stop. Taking into consideration the cumulative factors, an addition of 40% of the established income of the deceased towards future prospects would be reasonable. Stop and over.